I'm honestly not sure whether to laugh, scream, or just sit there staring at the screen, wondering how the hell we got here. There was a studio, one studio, that figured out it could pump out the same game year in, year out, slap a different historical postcard on it, and people would keep buying it. The first few times, fair enough. Novelty carries you a long way, but after 4 games the cracks were already there. By 8, it was fatigue. By 14, that's not a franchise anymore, that's an assembly line with delusions of grandeur. And yet, here we are, 14 entries deep. Same loop, same structure, same hollow promise of this one's different. It isn't. I know it isn't. They know it isn't. And still, I just spent 12 hours playing one of them. 12 hours. And the worst part, I was actually starting to enjoy it. I was settling into the rhythm, getting comfortable, letting the muscle memory kick in. And then the game did what Assassin's Creed does best: screw you over. Complete the level, get the cutscene, get the reward, desynchronize, reload, repeat again and again and again. Yes, you guessed it, it's an Assassin's Creed game. Or as it's felt for a long time now, Ass and Greed. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Daemon, and today I'm looking at and laughing at the slow, grinding self-parody that is Assassin's Creed, specifically Syndicate, the game I desperately wanted to finish and physically cannot. Let's be clear, on paper, Assassin's Creed Syndicate should work. Victorian London is a fantastic setting. Soot, smog, class warfare, industrial cruelty, it's practically begging for a Creed story. You've got gangs, child labor, corrupt elites, and an empire built on blood. That's fertile ground. And to Ubisoft's credit, the world itself is one of the better realized playgrounds they've built. 7 boroughs, recognizable landmarks, and a city that actually feels alive compared to some of the flatter, soulless maps we've had since. Walking through Whitechapel, you can almost smell the smoke and coal. The factories choke the skyline, the streets are noisy and crowded, and the ambient sounds, footsteps, carriage wheels, distant brawls, create a living, breathing city rather than a static playground. Even the Thames feels functional, a channel of trade and chaos rather than a lazy, decorative river. Finally, a cityscape that feels earned. Mechanically, Syndicate is basically Unity with the serial numbers filed off, third-person stealth, linear missions stitched into an open-world checklist, and the same familiar animus scaffolding holding it all together. Police replace guards, but let's be honest, they're just guards with whistles. The Blighters replace every other hostile faction because every Assassin's Creed game needs a color-coded gang to punch for 10 hours. The twin protagonists, Jacob and Evie Fry, are actually a solid idea. Jacob is your hot-headed brawler, all fists and momentum. Evie is stealth-focused, precise, and frankly more in tune with what Assassin's Creed used to be about. Evie being the first female playable character in a mainline entry is long overdue, and she's easily the more interesting of the two. Her arc is careful, methodical, and the missions designed for her feel more in line with traditional Creed philosophy. Jacob? Less so. He's brash, reckless, and the kind of hero whose victories leave a wake of collateral damage. Child labor freed, factories sabotaged, civilians endangered. Jacob never really considers consequences, and the game treats it as humor or charm. It's intentional tension between the twins' philosophies, sure, but it often lands as inconsistent. Evie cleans up his mess, and the player spends half the game pivoting between restraint and chaos. The split can dilute both arcs, making you wish the game had just committed to one style. Weapons fit the era nicely. Brass knuckles, cane swords, Kukris revolvers. The rope launcher is pure video game nonsense, but it works, and I'll admit it makes traversal less painful in a city built vertically. Carriages, rooftop chases, trains as mobile HQs. It all sounds great, and at times, it genuinely is. You can feel the verticality, the pacing, the mixture of stealth and chaos. Ubisoft clearly knew how to make London exciting, if only they had allowed the game to breathe instead of spamming the same structures over and over. Combat is, well, faster now. More arcade-like, honestly. It's less about precision and more about rhythm, which I guess keeps things moving. Stealth? That gets a boost too, with kidnapping mechanics and better crowd blending. Black box assassinations are back, but with a bit more flexibility this time around. On a systems level, Syndicate is competent. Sometimes it's even fun. And that's the trap. Because look, all of this sits on top of the same loop Ubisoft has been recycling for, over a decade now. You liberate the borough, you clear the icons, you kill the lieutenant, do the gang fight, rinse, repeat. Side missions pretend to be meaningful. Free child laborers, kidnap targets, sabotage factories. But honestly, mechanically, they're just identical tasks with different coats of paint. The gang system, it's a facade of depth. Level up the rooks, get passive income, upgrade gear. Sure, numbers tick up. Sure, the streets slowly change color. But really, nothing actually changes. Progress is illusory. Your impact on London, on the story, on anything. Yeah, it's paper thin. The story itself is equally a mix of competence and complacency. Crawford Starrick is a serviceable villain, a power-hungry industrialist whose grip over London feels real enough to give your missions some actual stakes. Surrounding him are historical cameos: Dickens, Darwin, Marx, Bell, Nightingale. They're more ornaments than actual characters, honestly. They add a bit of flavor but rarely interact meaningfully with the plot. You're just kind of aware of their existence more than their influence. Modern-day segments, yeah, they're barely there. The whole Juno and Shroud nonsense just keeps rolling on as some kind of contractual filler, dragging the lore along like dead weight. The Animus framework still feels totally forced, honestly. But the real kicker here isn't even the mechanics or the story, it's the game-breaking bug. 3 platforms, PlayStation 4, Xbox, PC. I've had it happen on 2 of them. I won't touch the 3rd. Same point every single time. Those cargo hijack missions for Ned Weiner, you're supposed to steal the train cargo, deliver it anonymously, get your reward, except it's bugged, completely broken. A desync loop just hard locks your progress. You literally cannot finish the game. And this isn't just speculation, it's a documented, known issue. Who tested this? Who approved it? Who actually looked at a perfectly coded mission and said, yeah, this works? The result, 12 hours of immersion and investment thrown straight into a brick wall. I was actually enjoying the game, settling into Victorian London, getting into Evie, buying into the atmosphere, and then Syndicate just yanked it all away because apparently the studio would rather churn than polish. It's almost ironic, you know? The franchise literally asks players to invest in repetition, run the mission, collect the reward, repeat, then punishes them for doing exactly that. Ubisoft seems to treat patience and engagement as if they're liabilities. It's honestly a masterclass in consumer exploitation, all disguised as a historical adventure. And yet, in spite of all this, there's glimpses of brilliance. London is alive, Evie is compelling, the rope launcher, rooftop chases, carriages and rooftop fights are genuinely enjoyable. The atmosphere of Victorian oppression, the smell of soot and coal, the child labourers and gang wars, it's honestly immersive. If only the structure, the repetition, the bugs and the corporate greed hadn't gutted it. Syndicate could have been a high point in the franchise, a polished, enjoyable Victorian playground with enough historical drama, stealth and action to remind players why they loved Creed in the first place. Instead, it's a bittersweet footnote, a glimpse of what might have been forever undone by broken mechanics and an indifferent release schedule. So yeah, I'll stick with Ezio. At least those games were finished, at least they respected my time, at least they worked. Syndicate is a reminder of what happens when a series stops being art and becomes infrastructure, when history becomes a checklist, when repetition is celebrated as gameplay. And this video will serve as a reminder to never touch this mess of a game again, at least for me. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where naturally I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.